Um, uh, I was sitting here looking at some of the old comments I got from a while back, and one of them had asked me about the war on drugs. And I actually have a lot to say about the war on drugs, but I don't think I'm going to be able to break it down in this video. Um, I know so many statistics, people that get in prison, charges, for small amounts to large amounts, comparison for other crimes. And, all that is just really information. And what I've been trying to do recently is create a new way, a new America, a new design, a new system, so to speak. The one that we have is completely flawed. Now, with the war on drugs, something that I'd like everybody to understand, it was a signed declaration of war by Ronald Reagan. And back, I don't know, 15 years ago, started up Plant the Planet, legalization through cultivation for education taxation. Time to overgrow your government and plant pot plants in public places, is what I was saying. And I go up to people and, spread my knowledge about, the war on pot and the war on drugs. I had the luxury of being able to chit-chat with some vice narcotics officers and some law enforcement that combat the war on drugs, and they do their part. Whenever I was locked up and in transport in the federal system, I actually started drilling the people I was under custody with about the war on drugs and their views. And time again, they kept on saying it's the gateway drug, it's the gateway drug, it's the gateway drug. And for everybody else, they think that they know what that means when it's the gateway drug. They think that it means it leads to other drugs. And that's not the point. That's not the case. It's the gateway drug because it leads the cops to the other drugs. If people are smoking pot, then chances are somebody that knows somebody that smokes pot can find coke or heroin or crack or meth or whatever. It's a gateway to get to the other drugs because it's kept illegal. They said that if it was legalized, then the gateway is closed and they don't have access to the other drugs. It's a war on drugs, right? So my thought is, why don't we just all voluntarily surrender as prisoners to the war on drugs? Just go ahead and light up a joint and approach a cop all on the same day, make it a LARPing op, where everybody gets off their ass, goes out there, rolls up a joint, and approaches a cop, and just DDoS them with your body, you go up there, you turn yourself in while he's busy with the paperwork and arresting you. Somebody else is waiting for that cop to come back out on the street, and then boom, there they go. Somebody's right behind you, and they're like, hey, I'm surrendering too. Next thing you know, you got the jails filled up. It's the whole power of the people. But we're taught that we don't do it that way. We got to protest. We got to write our congressmen or our senators. Those are just people. They're just people. I also had an idea of writing a check to the Department of Treasury, and on the memo on the bottom, put outright legalization of marijuana. And the check got returned, quite a few times, and I quit doing it. But I was hoping that they would get the check and say, okay, yep, we agree. We'll take this money from you, and we'll abide by this legal document that says on memo, outright legalization. If they cashed the check, then I would have actually legalized pot for a dollar amount. I would have bought the legalization, and that would have been funny. That'd just been perfect. But I'm just one person. I tried to do my part and teach people. Actually approach people that smoke pot and stuff like that, and tell them, that's been lied about. Drugs are bad. You're smoking your reefer, whatever, but the coke and the crack and the heroin and all that other shit, that's bad for you. But kids are taught in DARE class, drug abuse resistance education, for any of y'all that don't know what DARE class is. Here in America, or Alabama anyway, we got DARE class, and in elementary they start telling us all about drugs. And I remember back in 5th grade or 4th grade, I was taught about drugs, and I came home to my mom and I told her, I said, Mom, I need to deal drugs when I get older, because if you and Dad can keep me out of trouble from the cops, I can get you a mansion, I can get you a car, we can have boats, airplanes, the whole nine. They just didn't teach it in the right way. They told us the wrong things, and they put it in my mind at a young time, as they did a lot of people. It's out of sight, out of mind. Everything's one generation from extinction. That's everything. Every church, every organization, every movement, everything is always one generation from extinction. And what they're doing is they're jumping back and teaching the next generation to get fucked up. Hey, guess what? These drugs are out there, and they are readily available, and this is how they're approached. If you ever do find some, this is how you can get more people. They tell you exactly what to look for. They tell you exactly how to act. They're breeding it. And the war on drugs is a fucking joke. It's a waste of everybody's money. I mean, look at how much money we've committed to the war on drugs. Now, what if, just saying here, what if the government turned around and had legalized pot, right? But there's a catch. You can only buy marijuana produced by the American government. Now, take out the whole controlled GMOs and all the other crazy crap, right? And just look at the finances of this idea. If you can only buy American pot from like an ABC store, and then you can sell it like they do alcohol in bars, then 100% of the base money used to take it out of the ABC store goes to our government, goes to our taxes. It's a cheaply grown product. There's very expensive ways to grow it, but there's also some very cheap ways too. It's called throwing it on the ground, right? Pulling out the males. Well, you make this product cheap as hell. You get Philip Morris and R.J. Reynolds to quit making tobacco and start selling pot packages for the government. Now you got rid of tobacco, you added pot, you got an income that can help educate truth, it can help combat the true drugs. They don't want to put it in the right way. See, they got it set up for the money. If they go ahead and they let a whole bunch of people start selling pot and coke and all this stuff, then these groups are selling their shit, making their money, and all the cops have to do is just come on in and take the money away. And then, of course, they take the drugs away, and he goes in the evidence locker, and a bad cop turns around and sells it onto the street again, and they just recycle the money. And a few years back, I was actually aware of an operation that the cops did, and it wasn't here in Alabama, but what they did was they bought all the weed, okay? They actually used cash and went to all the dealers that they knew about and bought up all the weed they could. Then they released a shitload of snitches, narcs, right? Criminal informants. And since all these people they knew about didn't have any more weed because they had bought it all, they saw the other people get exposed, because now that nobody has a hookup, everybody's searching. So the ones that do have see that supply and demand, they open their doors wider. All of a sudden in comes the cops and they bust them. And then of course they turn around and they bust the people they bought the weed from to begin with. And Patriot Act, you gotta love it, right? And another thing about the Patriot Act and the war on drugs, you know that the cops can come up into your house plant like a kilo of cocaine in your house while you're at a PTA meeting or a kid's soccer game, you come home and they can raid you. They can bust you. Boom! And pull out the coke. Hey, look at this. You got a damn kilo of cocaine in your house. Then they arrest you. Now, here's where it gets fucked up too. Okay? They have up until 6 months to either A, let you go, or B, tell you they did it. That's fucked up. You know what I'm saying? That's your Patriot Act, you know? And we just let it pass, you know? And, you know, we gotta worry about other things now, right? Like Korea and everything else under the sun. I like my plan. You know, my plan is to get all the problems in a row and systematically knock them out with everybody on the same side. And war on drugs is one of them. I mean, let's think about it, y'all. Do you really want the drugs running rampant? I mean, nobody really wants them running rampant, you know. But on the same token, I also got to say that the government shouldn't have the right to tell people what they can and cannot do to themselves. Okay, they got prescription drugs, right? You can go to this fucking bipolar doctor, and you can get him to prescribe you anything. Anything. I mean, all kinds of shit. All you gotta do is go on WebMD and research symptoms and shit, and go up in there going, oh, my neck's hurting, I can't sleep at night, I'm having suicidal thoughts, you know what I'm saying? Now he's like, have some Valium, have some Lorcets, have some Darvons, have some, you know, anything you want. You know, it's like, oh, I can't sleep, I can't concentrate, my mind's racing. Oh, here's some Adderall. And those who don't know exactly what Adderall and Ritalin is, it's pharmaceutical grade meth, okay? On the pill itself, it says crystal amphetamine. Methamphetamine, I mean, not crystal methamphetamine, it says methamphetamine. See, crystal meth forms from crystals built up on aluminum. And the pharmaceutical uses vacuum pressure, you know, vacuum and pressure in order to create the meth. They don't use the aluminum like rednecks do. So, you know, you can't have your meth, right? You're a meth head, and we're going to fucking put you in prison for spending your time cleaning your house and whatever. But we're going to go ahead and let you prescribe it to your kids. You know, we're going to go ahead and get bottles of it and just start passing it out. We're going to go ahead and every teacher, every school that has a kid on Adderall or Ritalin, you know that they get $2 a day? The school does. For dealing with a kid that's on that shit. You know, that's twisted, y'all. You know, the war on drugs is a joke. You know, it's a joke. It's a misdirection. You know, you want a war on drugs? You know, fucking do it. You know, voluntarily surrender as a prisoner to the war on drugs and expose what the fuck it is. I mean, hey, I'll do it. I mean, if everybody else is up for this op, you know, I'll do it. I'm not a smoker. You know, I don't have a bunch of weed, you know what I'm saying? I might have to find something. I don't think it'd be hard to do. Throw an ad in Craigslist. Hey, look, I'm trying to turn myself in for the war on drugs. And I got a joint I can borrow. You know, I'm sure somebody will want to put that shit on YouTube. Fuck, come think of it, I'll do it on YouTube. And I think everybody should, you know? I mean, it is what it is. And, aside from every other subject, y'all, I got a question. I'm wondering if anybody's got a pair of those glasses that have the cameras in them. Because walking around with my tablet, my laptop, and the phone, and stuff like that doesn't really work for the type of face-to-face LARPing operations that I do. You know, I like to go out there, and I would like to let everybody else see these people's reactions to the things I say to their face. And maybe it'll give somebody else a little bit of drive to, you know, see that this is possible. You know, you're told that you can't do this, you can't do this, you can't do this, you can do this, you know? I'm a grown man. Who the hell's going to stop me? You know what I'm saying? I mean, the cops, okay, and then what? And then what? What are you going to do? Arrest me? And then what am I going to do in jail? I'm going to keep preaching the word to all the damn inmates and all the damn jailers. You know, I'm going to keep on going. You know, that's the last place they want me, is in a damn jail with a whole bunch of people. And, you know, it is what it is, you know. I mean, it's a war, but it's not a war, you know. It's a misdirection using drugs as a topic. um, is crap. So, cigarettes, it's a drug. Caffeine, it's a drug. Nasonex, Lunesta, Valtrex, everything that you see on your damn TV. You know, there's drug commercials constantly, left and right, saying, hey, buy this drug, buy this drug. And no shit, y'all, they got like a minute and a half worth of side effects. You know, a minute and a half. Are we serious? And you can't smoke pot because why? Because it makes music sound twice as long? Because it makes you crave potato chips, Frito-Lay? I mean, are we serious? Are we serious? Well, it's bullshit, y'all. It's bullshit. There ain't no war on drugs. I think that if everybody just went out with their joint, which, you know, you said not a joint, but, you know, everybody went out with their joint and just lit it up and said, now what? You know, it makes a difference. You know, it does. It's not a protest. It's a question. You know, say, are you going to be active? Are you going to get me? You know what I'm saying? And look, to all y'all officers of the law out there, you know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about. And I wish that some of these law enforcement people would maybe come forward, and say what they want to say about it. They can feel free to comment me or just start an anonymous profile and tell everybody what you think, how you feel that it should be changed. You know, what differences do you see that can be done to make it better? Because you know that it's crap. You know that it's wasting money. And it's just a waste. You know, the war on drugs is a joke. You know, we're out there in Afghanistan blowing up the mountains for that pipeline to go through, right? Saw a soldier out there, he's like talking to the people in the field. I don't know, whoever helping the Northern Alliance or Al-Qaeda, Taliban, I don't know who are supporting this year. But who knows? Well, they're talking to one of them. He's like, well, you know that as soon as the war on drugs is over, we're going to be back here to take all your poppy. And the camera pans, man, nothing but poppy fields everywhere, because opium is Afghanistan's #1 cash crop. You know, and I think that the reason that we're in Afghanistan is layered. You know, yeah, we're in there for the oil. I do agree with that. You know, no, we're not there for Bin Laden, so y'all can just fucking smoke one on that one. But look at all the damn drugs that everybody's getting pitched, okay? Everybody's getting pitched. All on your TV. I mean, how many people have ever taken a pain pill? You know what I'm saying? Where do you think that codeine's coming from? Where do you think that opium is coming from? It's coming from Afghanistan. You know, I mean, it's Afghanistan opium that you're popping in your mouth. You know what I'm saying? You're supporting Pfizer and Lilly and all these other pill manufacturing companies. That's the drugs right there. And yeah, it's a war. You know what I'm saying? We're taking our planes and stuff like that. Our tax dollars are going over there to get all shitloads of heroin and opium, bring it back here to America so the pharmaceutical companies can make you your pills. Yeah, it's fucked up. You know, it's fucked up. I don't know. It's a fucked up situation. I know I cuss too much. It is what it is. Maybe I just don't have the proper vocabulary. And if somebody would like to tell me a different word to use because you're offended, go for it. I don't care. I might use it, might not. But this is my view about the war on drugs. And I know that it can be changed. I know that there's a difference in what's really happening and what's not really happening. War on drugs is a formula. And the same formula is used with weapons, sales, and slave trafficking, sexual slave trafficking, kid trafficking. You know, I mean, just, you know, it's a fucking formula. You know, they know how to stop some of these things. They know what to do to change some of these things from occurring. And they don't do it. You know, they just don't. We got technology now, and they refuse to use it. And let me go ahead and jump on to another technology fact. To all the everybody's that think that you can just get online and protect yourself via proxy or any of that stuff, you can't, okay? This technology that we're using, like for instance a video chat, Alright, though, brand new technology. Internet was made in the 70s or the 60s, and now it's the 50s. I was on a fucking battleship not too long back, and I'm sitting there looking on the wall where they're talking about how they had video chat from the battleship to America. Okay, video chat. Alright, they had the fucking internet way back in World War II. Okay, this technology hadn't been released to the masses until after they were sure that they can monitor all of it. Okay, if this was a threat, if the internet was at all a threat to national security, then it would not have been given to us. Okay, you got to understand that there is some facets of the American government that does look out for the people, and it's security's best interest. They don't want people to be able to overthrow the government and use technologies they released against them. So, just food for thought. Let you know, every phone call you've ever placed since 1979 has been recorded in a database. Every web transfer you've ever done is recorded in a database. You know, all this technology is here. You know, they might not be able to sift through it all right just yet. That technology is probably growing. But they know what we're all doing. They know who we are, whether or not we like it or not. And that's fair. I'll let y'all know about that. Don't believe me? Research it. You know, that's something I can't express enough is research. And gotta quote Alex Jones on that shit, because he says, research, don't take it from me. Go to the Library of Congress and whatnot and see what they have to say. So, it is what it is. Sorry for burning up 22 minutes of your time. I hope that it was either educational or entertaining. Look forward to hearing any of your feedback, your comments, subscriptions, whatever, likes, dislikes. You hit me up. I'll subscribe to you if you tell me to. You know, just let me know what's up. Talk to y'all later.